everyone, this is a Hydramaxx 2600. This machine's a wheel trencher. These trenchers are made by Port Industry. They're called the Hydramaxx. Port builds a couple brands, so they label the wheels of the chain machines Hydramaxx, and there's another brand they produce as well. This is a wheel machine, as I mentioned, and this wheel machine is a series of wheel machines that they produce. They had the 2400 machine prior to this, and everybody wanted a little bit more power and a little more everything, so they came out with the 2600, and then the 2600 became the baby model, which everybody wanted, again, more power and everything, so they came out with the 2700s and the 2710s. And then when the emissions came into play, they came out with the 2720s, which is what I believe now. I think they got 2620 and 2720 now, small and big model. And I think they also have a 2520, it's called. 2520 is the same tractor up here, but they use a chain trencher back here. This 2600, these here are called your uprights, your mast. Looks like a forklift mast. That's what picks the wheel up and down. And these are a lighter duty mast, and they're just on grease. And then here in the front you have a plate, and this swivels so that the wheel, when it falls around a corner, can actually bend. On the 27s, they did away with this style of mast. They went to rollers, and they also did away with this swivel plate here, and the whole mast actually has pivot points, greasable pivot points in it. And then here on the wheel, this is the digging wheel, and down there you have a spring, and that's for this big knife that sits up here in the buckets. That's what cleans the buckets. See that knife sticking out right there? That's what cleans the buckets. It's called a trip cleaner. And that trip cleaner is on a spring on 2600 and 27s and 2710s, which, by the way, 2700 2710 is the same model. The only difference was the cab. 2700 2710s had the hydraulic, where they'd actually run that up hydraulically and hold it in there. And the hydraulic was on an accumulator, same with the spring, so if it has like a chunk of wood that goes in, it'll actually push that thing down. But occasionally you will bend that trip cleaner if you wedge something really bad. It's happened to us, we've had to replace it. This is the buckets of the machine right here. And you can get different width buckets, so the wheel's wider, narrower. And on the side there's a tooth. You can see that bucket has a leading edge in a bucket, and you can get different leading edges. We ran some with teeth, kind of like backhoe teeth. Those are called rear bands. These are called a spade nose front. And you can even put one digging tooth. You can change it so you can get them on both sides. They got them on alternating, so this one has on this side, that one has on the next side. I ran them on both sides. And your space here to the other side, that's called your head frame. And depending upon your head frame width or size of your trencher will be as to how big of a wheel you can get in your trencher. And of course, you have a conveyor there which shifts both ways, and the dirt wheel comes around and brings the dirt up and dumps on the conveyor. Back here I have the tile boot, which has a tile going down through it. As you can see, we're started in here. And this boot, zoom in, something climbing with the dirt there. There's hooks there and a latch lever, and there's these arms here. If you ever hit a big rock, this is your shear pin, and this one's actually got a stub left it because it's actually sheared. But anyway, there's a shear there so that can trip back. If you do hit a huge rock, you can leave the tile on the boot in the ground, unlock your quick lock, pull the wheel up and out, then take an excavator, dig that rock out where the wheel's at. Then you can rehook onto your boot and continue going without having to pull your tile. Now up here in the front, the tractor unit, this has got 30.5 by 32 tires. These use John Deere axles, or at least mine did. And again, this is a 2600. This one here uses a 350 horsepower M11 Cummins. When they went to 27s, everybody wanted more, so they went 13 5-liter John Deeres. This is a air-conditioned and heated cab model. Some of the early ones just had a platform there with an open seat. And you guys can see your controls and stuff here. And they have a side cab so you can see back there and see your wheel and see what's going on. And here's my 2710. If you go back in my video archive, you can see us running it. As you can tell, it's a much bigger, heavier machine. And here's some of the new machines. This is a 26 or 720. These are very, very nice machines, well thought out. Vermeer also builds one which uses the Port Industries Hydramaxx wheel. And here's a Buckeye machine. In my opinion, the Buckeye has a much better wheel over the Hydramaxx, but a lesser tractor unit. Pros and cons to both manufacturers. This is Buckeye's new 40 series Tier 4 compliant unit. Pretty impressive machine, as well as the Hydramaxx. Pickup is always full of fittings, just like it is now. I'm using up some of my inventory on this job, or what was left of it anyway. PVC intake here. We build our own intakes. We like the one-piece intakes. You can see down here, these are little weep holes, and up here these were bigger holes. We made a jig, and we would drill these in the wintertime, buy PVC. A lot of times I'd go to the Home Depot and load up on it, and we'd buy a whole pickup load, and we'd spend several days drilling pallets of intakes. And there's our surface well pit, or as I was told online, a relief well. Technically, a relief well is a little different, because this is basically your outlet. Okay, we had to take the terrace out right here. The new terrace is just gonna come around the corner and tie into this one. Here is jog here. This is where the bad intake was. It's a slight modification because it never really drained right. We had to take the terrace out so we can bring that line up here and connect it in. What we're doing right now is we're coring the intake. We've got a terrace starting in here. We're going to cut this dirt out of here loose and push it back in. That way the water hits it, instead of falling that soft ditch, it'll just kind of hit like a big sponge and soak down. And here's a couple hours later, got that all curved in. Right in there is where that gap was, where the trencher goes through. We're actually going to be eliminating this waterway. This over here is the new main, replaces the old clay main. There was a clay main that had been tapped into multiple times. Replacing that with a new plastic, updated main that will handle better capacity. And we have blowouts to the old clay, that's why we're redoing it all. So we're going to cut this waterway off here. You can see these big ditches along the waterway. That's the problem with waterways in our area, is they just don't ever hold up. And then you end up with the water out there at the edge of the field instead of where it's intended to be. You can't hardly mow it. So we're just going to do away with it. We got our main up the other side. What we're doing here, we cut across the waterway with an 8-inch stub, and we're getting the junction in now for an offset, and this will come up to that intake that's already pre-laid out right there. We're going to dig another one right there. It'll come up to this intake right here. This is called setting in. He's backing the trencher up. We ran a secondary main here, and we got a T going in, and we're going to go up that intake. You can see it there in the grass. He backs up, and he's going to lower into the pre-made backhoe hole. Now for the cleanup pass. Nice and neat. You can see us setting the main, as well as a few pictures I took along the way. And here's a check-in with the county road crew. Here's the check-in on the county job. They did pretty much exactly what I expected them to do. They come in here, clean the ditch all the way down. Here's the fence. This was all farmable out the road ditch. Used to mow all this nice and flat. No need to cut this. That road up there needs the ditches all completely cleaned. But instead they come out here where it's easy to get dirt, just hog the piss out of it till it was ruined. Good grief. If a private excavation company ran their business like the county runs their crew, it would be broke very quickly. What a mess. but we'll have a final check-in with them soon. More equipment, knowledge, and information videos coming up, as well as more videos on this land improvement project and several other land improvement projects we have going on around our farm. I hope you guys like these kind of videos. Thank you for watching. As always, you can check the description below for more information. You can always check out our second channel, and you can see me in the comments and visit with me via email or in the comments section below. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.